Thank you so much.
Leandro, welcome back. We are now broadcasting live on our Facebook page. So, really wonderful to meet up with you, Leandro. I've been very excited about this interview. And I'm just, for our audience, going to introduce the film that you've directed, and then it'll be over to you to introduce yourself. So, yeah, along with his brother Jonathan Taub, has directed a film called Externo. It's our joint best feature of LA Rocks 2021. The tagline is, "A revolutionary businessman tries to conquer the world with $2,000. Externo is a film that unveils the political, economical, and cultural reality we're seeing in the world. Each scene of the film is a manifesto of a reality currently happening in the stock market, governments, pharmaceutical industry, food industry, real estate industry, drug trafficking, among other areas, where we wear a costume to hide a fractured reality of which we would like to pay special attention as an important step for change. Our wish for this film is to be loud, to provoke reflection, dialogue, and eventually change. It is framed into a story that possesses a highly artistic intensity that was achieved through the hard work of a team of young, talented artists who need to capture. So, as director of 3 film festivals, we're getting a lot of what I call apocalyptic films, which are basically responses to COVID. And they're all quite interesting, but yours really kind of topped the list, unquestionably, in its treatment of the current reality and what we're seeing basically in the world. So it really stood out to us as a very superior, interesting, subtle, sophisticated reflection on the realities that you mentioned. So I was struck by the power and ambition of this film, its maturity, but also its playfulness. It reminded me of Godard in his political Dziga Vertov period, albeit more entertaining and accessible, with elements, I would say, of Costa Gavras, the Greek filmmaker, and of course, Kowalski. Philosophically, it made me think a lot about Nietzsche, and I think this is something which we could talk about. But anyway, that's me. So Leandro, could you please just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much for the introduction, James. Thank you so much for your words. My name is Leandro Taub. Externo is the first film that we co-produce and co-direct with my brother Jonathan Taub. Originally, we are from Argentina. We live in Brooklyn, in New York. And as James mentioned, this movie is a very political movie and economical. It's a very linear, simple story of a guy who wants to do business without a moral compass and grows and grows and grows and grows, and by growing he started to get involved in many different type of businesses and in geopolitical stuff. And the objective of the film is to provoke reflection. I had one of my theater teachers in Argentina many years ago, Norman Brisky. He's a great theater teacher. In a class he said once, an artist is the person who points to the whole. What this means? He says that everyone is walking and there is a hole, and everyone walk past the hole without paying attention that there is a hole there. And the artist is normally who stop for a moment and points to the hole and say, "Hey guys, here there is a hole." And that is the objective of the film. The objective of the film is just to say, maybe it's interesting to talk about these issues. What happened with the absence of a moral compass, what happened with the ambition without control, what is happening with our world, and some other issues. And we wanted to tell the story in a creative way. So and also with limited resources, because we self-produce, we put the money, we didn't ask money to anyone, we put the money from our pocket. So we wanted to do it specially and economically. And I think we are very, very satisfied with the results. We are very satisfied with them.
You should be. I like very much this analogy of the whole, also known as I suppose the pink elephant in the room, that people are just,
Yeah.
No, that's very perceptive and relevant. Well, that's perhaps before we really dig into the content of the film. Let's just talk about the making of and the production. So yeah, can you tell us a few details about how you got your team together, sort of your indie technique for basically making a very beautiful movie that is self-funded and self-produced. That's extremely impressive. So
the key to make the movie was to have a great team. That is the trick. The key is to we have a camera, but the fact that we have a camera doesn't mean that we have the talent and we know enough about lighting, cinematography, lenses, and etc. to build a beautiful cinematography. So what we did is to look for good cinematographers. We have microphones, but to have a good microphone is not enough to have a really good sound. So we need to find a person who were able to capture all the sound and so on. The key of the production was to build a small and powerful team of talented people who believe in the project and jumped on the project. And the other production key element, it was to do it quickly so no one burns out, because to make a film is very it can be very stressful.
I think.
And especially in this time in the world, not everyone has the endurance and the perseverance and the will, neither the resources to stay in a project for a very long time. So also another production key was to organize everything quickly and to produce it quickly. So then the post-production, then we took much more time, but then we didn't depend yes, we depend on other people, of course, because we had a great sound designer, a great editor, post-production, color correction, but it was special things independently. It was not 24 hours a day, like people working.
Understood. And where did you shoot mostly?
We shot the film in Germany.
Oh, really?
The locations has been all around Germany in not recommended locations, really, because this is also, we shot it in guerrilla style, the film. For who doesn't know what it means, guerrilla style means that we shot it kind of jumping from one location to the other, not necessarily in locations which are really secure. So we got into holes, we got into places where people live, and but not same place as my apartment and your apartment. Like
understood.
Another type of lives, and we were getting into special places with cameras, with people, and it was delicate. It was really delicate. We had to be dealing with the situation. It's not recommended for anyone in their healthy mind to do that, but we were young.
Well, you're making Germany sound so exciting. It's and so you didn't get written permissions and licenses for every shoot. How shocking!
The thing is not most of the locations are not. They are like really in the outside of. There is no location in the city. Actually, there is no location in any city. The locations are really abandoned places in the countryside where some people is living. And and we were like, hey, hi. so it's special.
Oh, I love this. I love guerrilla filmmaking. I think it really adds to the kind of energy in your film. These locations, yeah, fantastic spaces. So that's a great story. Right. Well, let's segue to basically the pandemic and how that informed the movie. I mean, did the movie exist before the pandemic in any shape or form?
Yes, that is a divine coincidence, because you saw, James, that in the movie we talk about a guy who is not a pandemic, it's an epidemic, but there is something happening there. But we shot the movie before the pandemic. During the pandemic, we were doing the post-production of the movie, and we finished it now in January. It was a divine coincidence. We didn't know that was going to happen. So, and the pandemic didn't really affect the movie, or it affected in another ways, because we were not shooting. We were inside of a house in front of a computer. So to tell us when you are inside of a house in front of a computer, don't go out, is like anyway, I am kind of here.
But that's also quite extraordinary. So in essence, you're a prophet.
I think that is another conversation, like a mystical conversation. Like I do believe that we all believe in I do believe that the spiritual world and the material world are really interconnected, and the material world is a reflection of what happened in the spiritual world, and inversely also. So I do believe that we all experience, like, when you are in the right place doing the right thing, happen things a lot of time to all of us. You know, how many times you are thinking about someone and the phone call and you meet, and so it's really out. It's not. I will not feel proud about that, because it's not. It doesn't relate to me. It relates to all of us. It's a godly thing.
You do use a lot of voiceover in the film. Did that perhaps change during the pandemic? Did you modify some of your lines?
We changed several things from the original script to the end result. Yes. It was not so much adding, it was more taking out. the original version of the movie was 2 hours and 20. And now the final cut is 83 minutes, 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we took out 1 hour of the movie. That means that we reduce, we change, etc. And so there was a lot in the post-production, a lot of working with the voices, but not for adding too much, really. It was for trimming.
Okay, well, it's the edit is excellent, and I see that you've won some prizes for editing at festivals.
Yes. Thank you. It's been a learning process. I did all the, like, the edition has different like parts, like the rough. I was really into that, but then all the details, the artistic detail work is on other editors who are part of the team. We are 4 people editing the movie, that they help to put it really nicely. And then like Anna from Mexico doing the color correction was amazing. Alfredo from Mexico doing the edition was amazing. Emmanuel and Mauricio from the sound design doing the sounds is powerful. And doing this movie, I became aware of how powerful is the sound. We don't see it, and it's half of the movie. It really is so important, so important. And like now, I think in Tarantino in the beginning. When we all fall in love with Tarantino, with Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction, and I remember, I think I heard more times the soundtrack of the movies than see the movies.
Right. No. Yes, that's absolutely the case for me too. What about the aspect ratio? You have quite a very, very wide, kind of 1 to almost 3. Is that the case?
Yes.
Is there an idea?
There is a lot of decisions that are made to make a movie. A lot. It's constantly making decisions. Like this, we do it like this we do it like that. The color, the camera, the point of view, how to tell the story. It's all the time decisions. Mm-hmm. The decision of the frame, the aspect rate, she said the double of an anamorphic. We did a 355-1, which is exactly, you see an anamorphic, this is exactly the double of an anamorphic. It's like, if we put the screen that you are right now and the screen that I am right now, one by the side of the other, that is the anamorphic we did.
That's right.
But that it was not an edition decision. That comes from the lens. What happened is when we were designing in pre-production the movie, we had 2 cinematographers, and one of the cinematographers, Jonas, he came and he said, okay, I can get this crazy anamorphic lens from the 70s. They are super expensive. Someone can sponsor, bring us this lens. They are like really crazy. One for short, one from far. What do you think? We should say, let's go for it. So it was a quick decision, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful effect. No, I'm a huge fan of it. So great. Well, let's segue into the kind of meaty, content, ideas aspect to your film. And perhaps let's go back to finance. So I really liked, obviously, the premise of using this $10,000 to take over the world. I was very seduced by your explanations, the detail of how this was possible. In fact, finance has never made more sense to me than from your your film. I could imagine professors in economics using that as to explain to their students. So obviously your character is, you know, a sinister and you know, we're talking about lacking this moral compass. But I mean, there's also something very seductive about your character, and I think that this comes very much from your performance and how the life you give to this character. So I hesitate from thinking of him as irredeemably evil. And so is indeed the cleverness of this. I mean, is a slightly positive idea behind, you know, what he's doing basically.
Yes, in this outside, in the external part, we can say that the guy is evil. It's true, because he's doing things which are not right to do. At the same time, I see a lot of humanity in him, and a little sadness also. Someone who get obsessed with a goal and doesn't take care of his relationships, who doesn't know how to open his heart and connect with the other, who doesn't know how to create a healthy relationship, someone who doesn't doubt to do things which are not right because he's thinking on the end goal. It's terrible, but it's so human that I am not justifying it. No way, I don't justify it. I am pointing it out.
I like it. It's extremely well said. And yeah, we come back to your performance and your delivery of his lines. I use this word seductive. It's very charming, extremely charming. And of course, as the protagonist, we naturally identify with him and his project. But is that worrying, and is that the whole point, that we want people like this to exist?
Yes. I agree with you. And it happened to all of us. So last year there was this movie Shocker, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. A guy who is like justifying the evil, and we are all, or not all. I felt very connected with him also, because there is a part of me that also has that potential. So this has a lot, of course, of me and of all of us. The financial part, I have to admit to you something. I study economics. I study finance. I used to work in the stock market when I was younger. And actually, I used to know all that things. So basically, what I did is take a piece of my story.
I suspected as much. And I mean, we're in this kind of post-capitalist neoliberal economy. And I suppose neoliberalism is almost like capitalism with a bit of a conscience. But I mean, do you have a strong idea about the role and dangers of high finance? I mean,
yes. The thing is, I had the luck, or the more than luck, let's say, that for some reason God gave me a divine gift to be in different group of people. Like I have a background in finance, and my a lot of co-workers and co-students and friends, close friends of mine, they grow up in the financing world, and they are in different positions around the world in everything that we relate to the corporate M&A and stock market and capital market. Then I also belong to an artist community where I am with people who is like in another aspect spectrum of the world. Also, I am a Jewish, modern Orthodox, or how you want to call it, and I am in a very Orthodox Hasidic universe. And at least in the communities I belong, I never saw someone saying, I am evil, I will do this or the other to the world. No, no, no. Actually, everyone is trying to do their best to do the things right. The business guys, the politicians I know, the guys in the stock market I know, the guys in the religious community I know, the guys in the artistic communities I know. And there is a story that some blind guys they find an elephant. They are all blind. They don't see the elephant, and they never saw an elephant. But suddenly they are in front of an elephant, and they start to touch. And one is touching the air and says, "Look, this animal. The texture is like skinny and suddenly someone is touching the belly and it's like, no, this is huge, it's like a balloon, and the other is touching the nose and it's, no, this texture, and the other is touching the feet and no, this texture." So everyone is describing the elephant and everyone is right, but the descriptions are completely different because everyone is touching a different small part of a huge animal. So everyone is trying to do their best. I do believe. I don't think that one group is like evil and they are trying to. Actually, there is a lot of evil people in the world, but at least in these communities I belong, is not one of them like we are trying to take advantage of the world with our knowledge. No, no, no. We are trying to do our best. We are trying to feed our family, to help our community, and to give a good print on the world. That's why also this movie says this is a fiction. This is a movie.
Yes, I like very much your introduction, where you tell us over and over again, with great irony, sort of, our politicians are great people. Don't worry, they're doing it for the best.
I do believe it. I have things also. Thanks to God, I have a relationship with some politicians around the world, and the politicians I know, at least what I know, they are wonderful people. Of course, I don't know them so much, but the politicians I know, they are really nice people.
So in the movie, the businessman pulls the strings of world governments, through blackmail, coercion, and it touches on what I suppose a lot of us suspect, that our actual politicians are just front guys, puppets, and there's someone behind the curtain. I was particularly curious that you singled out the UK as the kind of demon country, and I think, as everyone knows, I'm British, so I was just intrigued and curious about why you chose Britain, the UK, as basically the focus.
Sorry, there are three big players in the movie: UK, US, and China. Then there are a lot like in this geopolitical war, like we had different alliances that we talked during the movie. But yes, there are like three main players, which is UK, US, and China. And I choose them because the moment when we are shooting the war, probably if we were going to do this movie 500 years ago, probably the countries were going to be the Ottoman Empire,
Right.
you know, or maybe 2000 years ago it was going to be Rome, you know, like, of course, the players that we choose are the players that are more current. And if we talk about the current player, like US is the biggest and more powerful country, and China is kind of there, and UK, like just around the corner, in theory, they were like also the big empire. So I when writing the script, these are the, the players that came to mind.
That's great. And incidentally, I was not offended in any way, or in just rather intrigued and flattered even that the small island could still be considered of any relevance and danger to the outside world.
But James, like right now, if we look how the planet is splitted and the countries are splitted, many are still a direct consequence of the UK intervention. Like many. So it has a strong presence, at least from my humble point of view.
No, absolutely. Yes. So let's talk about the intrigue whereby there's a epidemic across the world, and Joseph, your character, is talking to the pharmaceuticals. There's one that Yellow Tree that gets all the contracts. Sound very familiar to what we're seeing. Also, a means to perpetuate the epidemic, basically. So, to milk this market. Do you think basically this is what we're seeing with COVID?
No, like it's a terrible or wonderful or terrible coincidence what happened. We shot, the script is written before, and then we shot the movie before. Yes, in the movie, the guy wants think that it's a good business to buy a pharmaceutical company to test some drugs to create a epidemic that he has the drugs to solve the epidemic. So but it's a business opportunity, very not right. Don't recommend anyone to do this, but he did it as a business opportunity. The reality is different than the movies. I believe. I believe that that the reality that we live is something really out of our control. The planet is too big for someone to control it in that way. I do believe that indeed it's real. Like a pandemic happened, and it's not the first time. Like there has been a lot of plagues and things happening in the story of the humanity, and we have been very lucky that until 1.5 years ago, I had a cold and I drink something and I was okay, and suddenly we as humanity, the people who are living today, we lived a pandemic. Like, wow. And I don't believe it's a human creation. I do believe that it's godly. For some mysterious reason that I don't understand, this happened. And I am very grateful to the pharmaceuticals companies who are taking care of us. And I understand that if they make a business out of that, it's okay. Like, but the priority is to help people. And it's terrible. Suddenly a pandemic, but at the same time, it's a blessing that we are so advanced in technology and resources to fix this so quickly, because this could last without a vaccine and resources. This maybe could last 10 years. And we are looking for the possibility that maybe in less than 2 years it's done. I don't know how long, but
Sure.
I that's why I know it sounds ironic when I say it in the movie, because in the movie is a little ironic, but I do believe that the movie is a fiction. The fact that touch closely realities that one can say, hey, maybe this is like this. In the case of the epidemic, it was a full like divine coincidence or whatever. Like really, in the movie, it's just a business strategy, and the reality, I believe, is something really out of my understanding.
Understood. That's what I got and suspected. The reality and what the truth that it shows is that our worst fears are possible, and well, of course, conspiracy theories and etc. etc. So it also touches on perhaps a current reality where our civil liberties, even in the West, are being eroded before our eyes, are they not? In the UK, it's extremely flagrant within the space of a couple of years, accelerated by the pandemic. Our civil liberties and our rights to freedoms basically are vanishing or being severely curtailed. And ultimately this will impact onto arts, and already does impact onto artistic freedoms in an enormous way. So perhaps is this the truth fundamental subject of the movie?
It's terrible. At the same time, it's not easy because I am not someone. My decisions doesn't affect directly or influence directly the life of so many millions of people. So I don't know how is to be in the shoes of someone who, when that person makes a decision, life of really hundreds of millions of people, or I don't know how many million of people, automatically change. I don't think it's easy because, like someone who has this type of influence and power probably wants the well-being of his community, and of course wants to say like, do whatever you want, meanwhile you don't do something wrong, like do whatever you want, meanwhile you don't hurt someone, etc. And suddenly you have a pandemic. Not easy, not easy, because yes, you can say do whatever you want, but suddenly if the people start to die, what do you do? It's not easy. And yes, I see a lot of pain. a lot of pain in the country where I am originally from, James, in Argentina. They are still in quarantine. I think they have the longest quarantine in the planet Earth. It's like they are still in quarantine. They don't allow the people to go out. And of course, no one is happy with that situation. But I don't know. I don't know the real reasons of the politicians to do that. But the question is, if everyone goes out, do the country has the resources to take care of X amount of people sick or dying? They are really delicate things, and it's, sorry for the noise, and it's very easy to talk about something when it's not touching us. You know, like I give you an example of something that happened this week. I am a Jewish guy living in the Western world. Suddenly, because of what happened in the last 2 weeks in Middle East, a lot of people start to make attacks to people like me in the planet Earth because I have this in my head. And my Facebook, I make a publication that got almost 13,000 hate comments. My social medias exploded with people threatening me. And suddenly I have to go out to walk to the street. And I see in the news that not only Middle East, here in New York, people start to punch people like me in the street because we are Jewish. So suddenly, something that I can talk from far comes really close. And now when I talk about something that is not related to me, I can say like this, like that, like that. But suddenly, now I am talking something that is touching me really closely. Mm-hmm. It's touching my family, my friends, my community, my country, and myself. And now I have to be like, oh. So why I'm giving this example? I'm giving this example to say it's not easy. It's really not easy, the situation. I am really sorry for all the politicians in the world right now. I don't know how they can handle a situation like this in UK, in the US, in Mexico, in Argentina, or in any country in the world. It's really difficult and delicate. And at the same time, they don't want to lose their positions. So yeah. they are fighting a war between what is right, what should be done. I don't want to lose my job, and
no, it's very well articulated. But let's agree, perhaps, that politics is a dirty subject anyway. That's just a muddied puddle, and what is beautiful is art and film, and the meta kind of consideration of these topics. So perhaps let's just go back a little bit to cinema and could you tell us about your influences, your cinematic influences, and also I know that you've worked with Jodorowsky on Endless Poetry, which is a fantastic film. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, influences in this movie. There are strong influences of Aronofsky with P. There are strong influences of The Big Short. And if I start to talk personally, of course, I have big influences of David Lynch, of Jim Jarmusch, of Alejandro Jodorowsky also. Kurosawa, of so many wonderful filmmakers. And this is what came as a first movie. We are looking forward to do more and see what happens. And regarding Alejandro Chodorowski, he's a really talented artist. He for the one probably many people they know him and many people they don't. So for the ones who don't know him, he's the director of classic cult films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, mainly El Topo, The Holy Mountain, Santa Sangre, and recently his last movie, Endless Poetry, is the movie where I act. He invited me to act in his movie because he told me one day that I make him remember his best friend from when he was a teenager, when he was starting into arts, and this movie is about his time when he was a teenager starting in the arts. So automatically he told me, you made me remember my best friend. I want you to act as my best friend in that moment. The experience was wonderful. Of course, working with talented artists is a beautiful learning experience, and my attention was split constantly because it was don't spoil this, learn. Don't spoil this, learn. Don't spoil this. So basically, my attention was trying to do my best to do really well what I had to do in my role as Enrique Lin. For the ones who will see me, I was without beard and with a big wig, so I look much younger. So my attention was do it well, do it really well, and at the same time learn from this really talented filmmaker.
Oh, that's a beautiful experience and very special. And I've seen the film, and your role in it is great. So congratulations on that. And yeah, continuing about cinema, here in LA Rocks, we got fantastic submissions from yourself, from filmmakers, particularly in South America, Chile, Mexico, well, Central America, Mexico, other films from Brazil and Argentina. So is do you know any, basically, what's your thoughts on the state of what's going on in South America? Is there a new wave potentially coming?
I do believe that I do believe that we all always need to look also to the peripheral industries because they have a voice and they can bring a life experience that others don't. So it's valuable, like I love American cinema, I love European cinema, and I love Korean cinema and several areas of Asia. Then it's awesome to look, okay, what's happening in South Africa, in Mexico, in Argentina, in Chile. And they are full of great filmmakers, full of really talented people, and they have a different challenge because the access to resources is different, the access to the way of doing film is different. And I encourage everyone to stop a moment. Everyone who loves to see films, of course. Like if you don't like to see film, don't listen to this. But if you like to see films, it's interesting to to do a little zapping and okay, let's look at the same to the people who like to read books. It's nice to suddenly. I remember when I still remember and it gave me so strong impression when I discovered Gorky with the mother a writer from the Soviet Union. And I was in Argentina in the 80s and 90s. It's like really far, really far. It's completely different. And suddenly I discovered that life experience of the Soviet Union and the people living there. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see films from different areas and interesting to read books from different areas for the people who is interested to do this. For some people, whatever.
Good answer. And Los Angeles, what does that represent to you? So you live on the East Coast. Do you have any connection with California? Do you have you?
I do. I have many great friends from LA. I spent some time there without a car.
Oh, that's brave.
Also, I spend time with a car, but it's special the time without a car in LA.
It is.
I remember once I went to a meeting, in an industry meeting, and after the meeting, they told me, okay, the secretary tells me, give me the parking, so I validate the parking. And I said, no, I came by bicycle. And she was like, what? Yeah, okay. Like,
it's a great story.
Exactly, it's special, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The weather of LA is amazing. It's amazing. The air, the space is really nice, and I really feel special every time when I am in LA. And I look forward to spend more time in LA also, because it's a great city, and also because it's really related to the industry I love to work on.
Yeah, fantastic. You'll be visiting soon, I'm sure. I'm also an avid cyclist in Los Angeles, and know the reactions that gets. But it feels good. Yes. And although perhaps just on a more critical note of Los Angeles, I mean, obviously it has every community in the world is represented there in LA. South American, Jewish, everywhere, of course, is there. The world, it's a kind of complete microcosm. And yet, obviously, the trend in Hollywood is to be very reductive about cultures. And when it treats big subjects, of course, it gives it the Hollywood treatment. It's never very subtle or intelligent or sophisticated. And our festival is about encouraging exactly the opposite. So would you have any message or kind of like to filmmakers there, how to tell raw and true stories?
It's a very interesting question. I want to learn from them. They know a lot of things I don't. A old friend, director friend from Spain, he saw one of the rough cut of Externo, and he calls me. This is last year, before it was done. It was one rough cut. And he calls me and says, so artistic, Leandro, you do this and you do. And I was like, man, but I am trying to do Avengers. It's a joke. But at the same time, it has something of true. I really admire the talent they have. Like, I still consider my favorite filmmaker Steven Spielberg, by far, because I think he's a person that he can do whatever he wants in films. He says horror, true. Artistic film, true. Sci-fi, true. Mystery, true. Suspense, true. Like, he knows the craft. And I admire people who knows the craft. The same way someone who likes football likes to see Beckham or Messi, or when you see someone who manage something so well, you're like, wow, this is. So I am not in the position of telling someone in the industry in LA how to do the stuff. I am in the position of teach me. I want to learn.
Cool. Well, thank you, Leandro, for these very informative and thoughtful, reflective answers that you've given to my questions. Perhaps we'll just kind of talk finally about what's in store for you in the future, your current and next plans. What we're going to see from you.
Thank you so much, James, and thank you for all the questions. So, Externo is right now the film we have with you in your festival. Right now is in many festivals. It's in this moment, because the news changes every day, but in this moment it's in 38 festivals and with 50 something nominations and several prizes. We are very excited, but we didn't confirm a distribution yet. So we are like, how are we going to distribute this film? That is the challenge with Externo right now. Then we have 3 films that one is really into close to start the pre-production. We are finishing to put together the version of the script that will be shot. And once that is the version, we start pre-production probably very quickly. And we have 2 other projects in development. One is already the script, is with a very beautiful cast in LA and all like package, and now it's like in the business side. And we have another project which is still putting drops on the script. So we are in different stages. So a project in distribution, a project getting into production soon, a project in the business side, and a project in the early stage, which is, as a filmmaker, how I think is a good position to be. Because you want to be pushing something, but at the same time something, like to be in a wheel. So we are in a wheel, trying to make the wheel to be round and not square, because if the wheel is square, it's a problem to make it turn around.
Perhaps on a roll as well, with all the festival nominations.
Thank you so much.
Which
and James, thank you so much for having us. We are very thankful that not only to have been selected, also to get an award, to be selected and be awarded. Thank you so much.
Oh, Leandro, it's truly our pleasure. It's been wonderful to talk to you. We're very excited about how well Externo is doing. We wish you every luck, and with its distribution, festival campaign and distribution prospects, we're sure it's going to get there. And we're really very excited to see what you're going to work on next. And hopefully you'll send it our way.
James, thank you so much. And everyone who sees this transmission, thank you so much. Support LA Rocks and support the festival that James is doing. I think he's great, and LA Rocks.
Thank you, Leandro. I'm just going to stop the live stream.